Good morning and afternoon. It is Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Welcome all to our first sharing show in 2021 and the start of season 3. I'm Kane and I'm joined today with David, better known as the Workday Sharing Guy, Logan, Teresa, and special guests.
Thank you, Kane. Can you tell us what is the most important thing about our Zoom chat today?
Absolutely. Even in season 3, the most important thing is to make sure that when you're chatting and interacting with everybody else on the show, please make sure you select all panelists and attendees. That way, everybody sees your question, everyone sees the response, and we're in that sharing movement. So with that said, let's hand it over and start the show.
Thanks, Kane. That's great. So right now, I'd like you to test your Zoom chat. I want you to go ahead and change it to all panelists and attendees or everyone, and enter in the chat how many Workday customer networking events have you attended. If you've attended all of them every month since November, put 4. If it's 3, 2, or 1, so you've attended some but not all, put that number. And if you are not sure what customer networking is, put a 0 and we will reach out.
And actually, Logan, I'm going to jump in here because the very first chat message, Don, I think came from you, which is perfectly timed, right? These are the Workday customer networking events that we have a special guest, Don, towards the end of the show as we transition from the sharing show into networking about midway through. What do you think, Logan? Are we ready to kick off season 3, the first survey Kahoot?
Yeah, let's open it up with kahoot.it. So go to your browser, kahoot.it.
Here we go. The first question, again, there's no right answer. What is your typical approach for Workday releases, such as 2021 R1? Cross fingers and hope for the best. You do some minimal testing. You review the What's New report. You have an entire team dedicated to it. This is supposed to be like the least amount is red, a little bit more is blue, a little bit more is yellow, and green is you have an entire team dedicated to it. Wow, okay, so very few people either admitting or very few people crossing fingers hoping for the best, which is great. Okay, next up, what do you know about Vibe? Okay, Vibe, maybe you don't even know what it stands for. Don't know. All you know is just how to spell it. You did some light reading on it. You actually took the workshop, or you're live on Vibe. Okay, there's a lot of great stuff coming for you. Denise from Denmark, I hope you're smiling here. Let's go to the next survey question. And this is the final one. How many sharing show episodes out of 43 total have you seen or watched on YouTube? Over 20, over 10, but not over 20, between 1 and 9, or this is your first one. I'm curious how many people, this is your very first sharing show. Blue is supposed to be between 10 and 19. Okay, a fair number of people. Oh, only a couple people here first time and got the Kahoot pin in on time. Okay, thank you everybody for participating here on the survey.
Okay, who do we have on today's fantastic lineup of sharing fans?
It looks like next we've got David, the sharing guy.
Okay, thank you, Logan and Teresa. So, hi, I'm David, the sharing guy. If it's your first show, you might not know this, but there's 43 other recordings of me giving the same disclaimer. So I'll be very quick. I was Workday employee number 149 over 13 years ago. My views do not necessarily represent Workday's views. And the same with everybody here. We're all just customers sharing with each other. Share-a-thons and the sharing show, this is not training. This is not free training. This is just knowledge sharing. I highly recommend the Workday training. I'm also, need to point out, I'm on a mission to help as many Workday customers as possible. So the sharing show is part of that. The sharing show is part of the customer sharing movement. And so here we are starting off season 3, our 3rd year of the sharing show, but there are other parts of the customer sharing movement. So for those who are getting the emails, it means that you've joined the customer sharing movement already. And you get an email every Wednesday, for example, where you could vote for the topics that are showing up here on the sharing show once a month for the sharing show and networking topics. We have a whole hour, approximately half of it will be networking at the second half. We did find out in season 2, by the way, often we go over 30 minutes. So sometimes we'll have 25 minutes of networking. If we have a short show, we'll have longer time for networking. If you're getting these emails, then actually all of you already are registered for season 3. There's no other way you would be here if you weren't registered, but maybe you're not registered yet for the customer sharing movement or for the 2021 R1 dashboard. So 2021 R1 dashboard is something you're going to hear about during this show, as well as I need to highlight for you a week from today at this same time, we're doing a 2021 R1 share-a-thon, and I'll show you how you'll find out more about that. And also in this one fantastic little email, there's actually 6 links in there. The I Love Workday photo contest, you'll see a little bit about that as well during this show. So what do we have in the customer sharing movement in addition to what we're doing now, the sharing show? Well, we have share-a-thons. For example, the 2021 R1 share-a-thon a week from today, Wednesday, at this time, 9 o'clock Pacific. So you would go to sharing and you would click on the share-a-thon link, and then you fill out the survey monkey so that we know how to invite you. We'll have your email. And that's how you'll get into the 2021 R1 share-a-thon a week from today.
So who do we have next on today's fantastic lineup of sharing fans?
It looks like we're going to welcome back Denise.
All right,
Hi.
Denise from Denmark, welcome back.
Thank you. So I was about to say, hi, I'm Denise from Denmark, but you already covered that, so thank you. Just a bit of an introduction to myself before I get started with showing you some Vibe dashboards. I have worked with Workday since 2015. Doing Workday configuration was actually my first job after completing my master's degree in human resource management. I am focused on Workday HCM, working with reporting, dashboards, people analytics, talent and performance, recruiting and business processes, among a lot of other things, of course. And as a fun fact, I just started working as an independent Workday consultant in December. Today, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to Vibe, focusing on the Vibe Central Diversity Dashboard. And I was really happy, of course, to see in the Kahoot that a lot of you are still new to this. So I'm hoping this will be valuable for you to see. Workday Vibe is a methodology for belonging and diversity, and it has been available for you since September 2020 at no additional cost to Workday HCM customers. And Workday's Vibe solution revolves around 3 key value drivers. It revolves around insights, where you can utilize the dashboard that I'm going to show you and analytics to assess and set diversity goals and then monitor and measure your progress. Also, there's talent, where you can employ tools and applications to drive diversity efforts in hiring through talent development, leadership development, and succession planning to recognize talent. And also experience, where you can deploy tools to measure employee experience for inclusion and belonging and create personalized experiences to foster inclusion. And today I'll focus on the insights to show you the Vibe dashboard and how to uptake it. Vibe Central brings together diversity-related data into one centralized place in Workday. This will enable your organization to set goals and monitor progress by assessing and managing diversity by dimensions of your choice, such as ethnicity and gender. The dashboard here consists of 6 different tabs. The summary tab that you're looking at now will give you a quick overview of diversity and a menu on the right-hand side to help the user dive deeper into the topic. Now, on the Hires tab, the user can check if hiring practices are balanced or if one group is over or underrepresented. And looking at the pie chart, you can see hires by ethnicity. Then on the Promotions tab, you can see the promotion process and succession plans if they're inclusive, for example, by looking at the promotions by gender or promotions by ethnicity. And of course, as with other Workday dashboards, you decide what your diversity dashboard should look like. Now, I'll take you through where you can find more information about how to uptake the Vibe dashboard. And you can see from this screenshot here, that's a community page where you can find all of the information that you will need. You will also need to have access to the Customer Central configuration catalog, as well as access to the object transporter to move the configuration package from the Customer Central to your own sandbox tenant. Then once you get to the Customer Central, you will see a configuration package that consists of a lot of reports that you can use on your diversity dashboard. The package is ready for you to migrate using Object Transporter. One thing for you to note is that if your organization is not located in the US, then ethnicity is often not captured in Workday, and then the following reports here will not be relevant, but still more than half of the reports are relevant. And you can, of course, also add in your own custom reports to the dashboard. And then a final thing for you to take away from this is that if you're really fast, then Workday are providing free workshops for you to help you both enable and configure the Vibe dashboard. And the registration page for this is, of course, also on community. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Denise. The next person we have is a special guest, Anonymous. So this is somebody who unfortunately wasn't able to join us. So we usually don't do last names on the sharing show, or first name only. I'm David from California. So here's what Anonymous wanted to know. And Denise, this is for your, well, not just you, for everybody who goes to the networking on dashboard, and in particular, the Vibe dashboard. So the background from Anonymous was they've taken the 4-hour Vibe workshop already, but haven't put it into production. So questions come up because they currently have 4 tabs. And then there's a follow-up question here, which is about the ethnicity in the US. Is anybody tracking on ethnicity in other countries? And actually, Denise, you might have an answer to this. In Europe, is it just simply not allowed?
Yeah, you're right. We look at it differently, right? So it's sort of the opposite, that you're not allowed to track ethnicity, to be sure that you're not discriminating by knowing.
Okay, who do we have next on our lineup today?
So next we have Helan from Atlanta.
Hey guys, this is Halan here from Atlanta. I've been in the Workday ecosystem for 3 years now, focusing on HCM recruiting, benefits, payroll, reporting, business processes, and security. Unique about me, I've been both on the implementation partner side and now a customer. We're looking for a way from a DEI initiative set out by our gender and LGBTQ plus pillars to get pronouns in the email signature. So as most of you know, pronoun is the second most used identifier outside of a name. And so at my current customer, we were looking to get this email signature in our Outlook, which is kind of branded by our IT group for uniformity. And so we were looking to use Workday Pronoun. So in collecting that, we used the 2020 R2 solution for public profile preference, where you can select education, military service, sexual orientation, or pronouns to be displayed. So here, it's showing an administrative view where the pronoun is down there at the bottom, but normal employees don't have that visibility to see all of this information. In 2021, R1, Workday put this out where, as you can see here, it is right under the name. And so while we have that flowing down through emails from last year, we thought that it would be awesome to also have this displayed in Workday. So if someone hasn't emailed you and you don't know their pronoun is yet, you can easily go into Workday and see this. So it's minimal visual change, but it's a great impact, because our workforce, there's a lot of younger employees who feels like this is a very big deal, and it makes a very big impact. So we thank Workday for all of these brainstorms and everything, and kind of pushing this out and releasing this with the speed that they did. But I have a couple of links that gives you guys more information on where to find that on community. I think it's pretty easy to set up some small security aspects of it, one business process, and you should be off and running.
All right, Halan, I just want to make sure I'm clear. In 2020 R2, you were not able to get here for Rudolph Rednose. By the way, we usually don't show private data, so hopefully Rudolph doesn't mind. It looks like in your tenant, Rudolph is in the reindeer games coordinator group, and the manager is the master elf. Okay, well, we could edit out all this private data, but this is what you had in 2020 R2 because you were limited just to what you see here on this page.
So,
right?
so here, right, here is an administrative view. Normal, typical employees don't have access to see all of this. And from a North America's perspective, is where we're collecting this information. For our global workforce, we were not. And so in showing the personal profile information on the summary tab or anything like that would have been inconsistent because pronoun would be the only thing showing where someone has that enabled. So we didn't go that route. So as it shows here on the screenshot below, this kind of a simple view. And so with the 2021 R1 release, right, we don't have to change anything as far as what we allow employees to see. Now the employee themselves, Rudolph, has the option, if he enables his pronouns, then it will just show right underneath his name. So, right.
Yes. Nice. Hold on. And I want to welcome you as a guest. We have a lot of repeat guests, but first time here, just so that you get challenged live by me. Have you tested this on mobile or not yet?
I have. It's actually enabled in Workday on the desktop and mobile, and it works perfectly. I've tested this out in our preview tenant, and it is up and working.
Awesome. Thank you, Helen.
That's great. Thank you so much.
So who do we have up next on today's fantastic lineup?
It looks like we're going to welcome back George.
Hi, guys. So I'm George from New York, and I've been in the Workday ecosystem for coming up on 4 years. I work primarily on Workday financials, and you can see some of the areas I support, though I'm a big fan of the customer sharing movement as well. So the other day I woke up and I was thinking about Workday. This happens all the time that I wake up and I think about Workday, but I was also thinking about poetry for some reason. And so I composed something that I'm going to read for you. Workday releases twice yearly, so attention to this, we pay dearly. It's in preview we trust, where our testing's robust, so we travel the path forward clearly.
All right,
that
George,
is one of a couple of limericks I came up with the other day, and I hope you guys come up with some limericks as well. It'll another fun thing to share.
George, everyone's on mute, but I could hear all the clapping. Thank you, George. Now, George, you're not completely done. Thank you for the limerick, and focus on Workday releases, and in particular the 2021 R1. But I would like to point people to the sharingshow.com. Under participate, you could get to the I Love Workday photo contest. And George, sure enough, is there, but there's a special gift for those who click on George's picture. I don't know how many people have heard it. Feel free to put in the chat a message to George if you have heard it. I just want to thank George publicly for waking up with these, or having these dreams in the middle of the night, waking up and writing limericks and singing songs. George, your song has been quite helpful for me, as I've told you in the past. So thank you, George.
You're quite welcome.
Thanks for sharing, George. Who's next on our lineup of sharing fans today?
This is Todd. I'm also from New York, and I have 7 years of Workday experience. I have expertise in HCM recruiting, payroll and benefits, reporting dashboards, analytics, integrations, and BPs security. I was a guest last year at one point around Boomerang integrations. They're like my favorite new toy. The topics of this show, in the US, we are celebrating Black History Month. And with all of the events over the last year, it's really put diversity and inclusion into the forefront of planning within organizations so that they can be data-driven, hard-led decisions. And Workday has done some great things through Vibe to make that to bring that to their customers. Not just diversity and inclusion, or I guess included with that, with the gender pronouns functionality that came out too. So, coincidentally, one of my friends on LinkedIn posted some quotes from Frederick Douglass. Now this guy's down in Atlanta, but I saw it, And Frederick Douglass, I'm from Rochester, New York. And Frederick Douglass was a resident of our city for 25 years. He's a prominent figure. He's buried there in Mount Hope Cemetery. I responded back to his LinkedIn post with a picture of my kids in front of the Frederick Douglass statue. So that's in one of our parks in the city. And then just a couple of days later, on Frederick Douglass's birthday, which is Valentine's Day, the Rochester International Airport was renamed to the Frederick Douglass International Airport. So, you know, between the sharing show themes and his posts and all of that other sharing, just really, really nice things. I'd like to say that the spirit of Frederick Douglass is still alive and well.
Okay, wait. Before you move into the 2021 R1 dashboard, Todd, so Tomio posted this on LinkedIn and you rushed out and took a picture of the statue with your kids.
No. I searched my Google Photos. You know, I knew it was there. I searched statue, up it comes, able to share it over to LinkedIn in a matter of minutes.
And then the next day or two is Valentine's Day and you took this picture.
No, that's right outside in a main street right out front of the airport. So I actually gleaned that from the Democrat and Chronicle newspaper.
All right.
So anyway, on to dashboards, or on to the 2021 R1 dashboard. You know, I've joined the customer sharing movement as well, and they put out this 2021 R1 dashboard. And the intent here is to have us all collectively help each other through this. You know, again, like the Kahoot said, whether you cross your fingers and hope for the best, whether you do the What's New in Workday report and focus on that, or you have a dedicated team, we're all here to help each other. So a couple of key aspects of the customer sharing movement's 2021 R1 dashboard is that we monitor changes to What's New items. In many of my release cycles, I download the What's New report and I wouldn't really go back as frequently to review any changes to that. So we monitor changes daily to What's New items, and then we let you know of those incremental changes. We have consolidated or curated, as Workday likes to say in a lot of things, curated some of the best resources out of community and give some indications of, you know, the level of commentary, number of videos, things like that. Also, we have advice from other members. So if you're new to releases, you'll probably find that helpful. We've got a couple of videos, things that have been on prior editions of the sharing show. And then we also produce an enhanced What's New report. This was something that came right out of Workday Community. Now, to access the dashboard, it does require a login. So here's the URL to join that. Here is a picture of the dashboard. First is the What's New Changes report. If you've got a full team, maybe you're going in every day and looking at it. If you're a little more casual, you could come to this dashboard and it will tell you what was the date, how many changes were there, was it a new item or an updated item, and the link to that, if you were to click on Change Report will open up the report of just those changes. I think we have that later. Next, the helpful community links. Again, some of the members have curated the best of from Workday Community. We give you a description. We indicate if there are videos included, how many minutes are the videos, how many comments and questions are there on some of the pages. Up in the customer sharing section, this is where members have helped out other members in various types of areas. You know, I need help, it's my first release, tips and tricks. And there's two things to this. You can view what people have contributed. You can also vote on what are the most important ones or the most helpful ones for you. Also in the video section, like I said, we have an overview of the dashboard, and we also have videos from prior sharing shows where other people have talked about their release approaches. We have, like I said, the enhanced What's New report. So that has additional columns in it. This was contributed by one of the Workday community user group members. They put this together. And when you go into that, it's got additional columns to help you out through your release testing. This is the change report. So it's the same columns as the enhanced what's new report, but it just contains the changes for that day. Usually they're coming out weekly. And then at the top in the banner, there is the related actions, and you can export this to Excel and use it within your own company.
Okay, Todd, I think I'm going to go back just to make sure people are following that the changes report is something that you're running this daily, because either everyone has to run this daily or one person runs it daily, like you, and then you post the updates here. You know, you're running it daily, but only on certain days have there been changes.
That's
And
correct.
it looks like they're happening weekly.
Yes, it does. So if there's no changes, you won't see it. When there are changes, you will see it.
Okay, and then you click on the changes report link. Instead of getting the full list of the what's new report, you're going to get only what's changed, which is showing here. And then you're showing you could export it to Excel. This is what the Mac user sees, right?
Yes.
And then, okay, so now here we are in Windows, and you were mentioning the added columns.
Yes.
On the right. So on the very bottom here, on the far right, the added columns go all the way to AK. And I don't know if you knew, like the previous show was season 1, episode 16, where the person who came up with those columns actually presented. So I'll talk about this part, Todd, right before we wrap that up. It's like, because it's kind of tricky how we figured out how to do this. There's 4 different videos there, and they're of course very small, but when you click on the YouTube link or icon, it then pops it up in YouTube, and it jumps right to that part of the sharing show. You don't have to watch the full half hour.
This is a link to the Customer Sharing Movement website. If you click join, there's a quick online registration. We'll email you to confirm your information. We like to ensure that you're a member of the Workday community, and then you'll receive your login to the 2021 R1 dashboard. With that, enjoy, have a good release prep cycle, and I hope a lot of people find this valuable and continue to collaborate.
Thank you, Todd. Okay, we're going a little bit over, but we're getting ready to transition.
Thanks, Todd. What are we wrapping up with?
Looks like we're wrapping up with Dawn from Atlanta.
Hi, special guest Dawn. It is very nice to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about what you've got going on here on this slide.
Thanks, Dave. Excited to be here. Hello, everybody. The networking that was launched, discussed at the beginning of the call of the sharing show today is part of what I help out with. It is a monthly event on the first Thursday of the month. Next month will be our 5th month doing it. We've grown from 85 folks to 360 folks attending. So with your feedback and input, we have added more topics, more ideas. We also use what we call Kickstarters. So if you would ever want to be a Kickstarter, that's somebody who really just wants to help keep that topic on point, make sure everybody has a chance to express their ask or their need. And really this idea came about last year when we were in the midst of COVID, and Workday and our partners were fantastic about putting out webinars and amazing content for all of our customers. And I really saw the need that there was no way that customers were getting together to actually talk to each other since we didn't have Rising or meetups or regional user groups. So this meeting is solely about customers networking, connecting with each other. You register. You don't have to worry about picking your topic at registration. You'll pick it real time when you join. And we leverage the Zoom technology. So breakout room functionality gives you a chance to turn your video on, unmute, and share either a story or an experience so you can help others, or ask and answer questions based on your topics. So we're real excited to keep this going. Next one is March 4th. So all the information and details are on community. And if you ever have feedback or ideas, you can add that in your registration form. Thanks, Dave. I really loved being here today.
All right, thank you, Dawn, and thank you for coming back as a repeat special guest. I'm going to point out here, Dawn, that everyone's on mute. And so what we're doing is we're leveraging your ideas here, and we're going to switch now from everyone being on mute to everyone unmuting, but not really that easily. So what we do is we're switching now to networking, and the second half is actually the second third. So 3 options you see here on the top. 2021 R1, not necessarily the 2021 R1 dashboard that Todd just talked about. This is more, what do you see that's cool and new? And so that for that one, you stay here on this Zoom. So now there's 2 other Zooms, and Logan's going to put into the chat. And I'm going to come back here to talk about the rules, but let's make sure everybody knows about the chat. So stay here for 2021 R1. For dashboards and Vibe, that's going to be a Zoom link that Logan put into the chat. Now you have access to this particular Zoom, so you could always come back here if you need to, if you're like not sure where that link is to get to the dashboard and Vibe networking. Then calculated fields networking, I'm going to do that. And part of the calculated fields networking is just, that's me as a Kickstarter in Dawn's last Workday customer networking session on February the 4th. So I'm going to continue with the calculated fields networking, and that's a Zoom link that Logan just put into the chat as well. So now I'm going to come back with very quick rules here. So whether you're staying here or going to one of the other 2 Zoom links, if there's only 10 people in your group, the rule would be everybody talks. And the second bullet here, nobody talks too much, especially if there's over 10 people. Let's start the networking by putting your first name into the chat and your location, at least like what time zone you're in or country, your email. Of course, all of this is optional, but the idea of networking is you're handing out a business card essentially. So put your name, location, email. How many years have you been doing Workday? What can you share with others? And then it might be cut off on your screen, but number 6 is, what asks do you have? Hi, I'm David. I'm on the West Coast of the US, Pacific time zone. My email is workdayshare, David Epstein @gmail. Number of years of Workday is 13. I can share with people about Calc Fields. My asks would be about Vibe, but I'm going to switch over to the Calc Field group. Any questions about the rules or what happens next? Because Kane, I think you get to wrap us up.
Excellent. Thank you, David. And thank you, Logan, Teresa, and special thank you to our guests for speaking on the show today and sharing. As always, we'll publish this episode on our YouTube channel. And so if you head over, click on the like and subscribe, then you'll get notified when these new videos are posted. And again, as a reminder, after this show, we go into the networking session. All that's left to say is we'll see you in 4 weeks on the 17th of March. So for those that are leaving, have a great workday. For those that are staying, we'll see you in a moment. Sunshine.